Hi there, I'm Danny Flexen. Welcome to this week's edition of SecondsOut ReFLEXions. There's plenty to talk about, not least Frank Warren's big heavy-duty show at the O2 on Saturday night finally came to pass, and a decent enough undercard was topped off by an explosive finish to the main event, which saw Daniel Dubois stop Nathan Gorman in 5 rounds to become the new British heavyweight champion. The Lonsdale belt, much coveted, was previously vacant. A lot of people had the fight going in as a 50-50, pitting Dubois' power and youth and explosivity against Gorman's only slightly older, but Gorman's skills, mobility, the presence of Ricky Hatton, a man who'd seen it and done it all before in the corner. But as it turned out, a 50-50 competitive looking fight on paper turned out to be rather one-sided in the end. Dubois came out, dictated the pace behind his jab from the start, excellent jab. Gorman could never really get to grips with the distance. Caught Dubois with a couple of shots, but never really got his own rhythm going, and was reduced after getting cut early on and knocked down early on, was reduced to winging big left hands over the top until Dubois applied the finish with a wonderful right hand in the 5th round. So we've got a new champion. Gorman, of course, still only 23, can come again. But Dubois on this night looked a veritable star in the making. A lot of people suggesting afterwards on social media and so on that he could now be fast-tracked. They want to see him in with kind of testing fringe world level operators already. I see no sense in rushing him. Yes, he's got the potential. Yes, he's got the skills. But he didn't have the longest amateur career. I don't think he fought as a senior. If he did, he only had a couple of senior fights. He was mainly as a junior. He's got the athletic gifts, but he still needs to improve as a thinking fighter. We need to see him go more rounds on more often as well, the championship distance. Let's give him a bit of time. He's only 21. He's a baby in heavyweight terms. And although it was a great win over Gorman, this is still very much domestic level. Let's wait and see. Give him a bit more seasoning before we're in a rush to step him up. There's no urgency here. You know, he's a project and he's doing very well so far. The other heavyweight attraction on the show saw Joe Joyce labour somewhat to a decision victory over Bryant Jennings. A lot of people thought the wide scorecards, or 2 of the scorecards, one was quite close. The other 2 seemed a bit too wide in Joyce's favour, but I did have him a clear winner by the end. Jennings messed him about a bit. It looked a winnable fight for Jennings at times, and that was quite frustrating. He never really showed any urgency when he seemed to be outwitting Joyce in there. And Joyce kept coming on. He's not the quickest, but he throws a lot of punches for a heavyweight. Very physically strong. Just kept crowding Jennings, getting on the front foot, and just beating the resistance out of him gradually. And it worked. And, you know, a lot of people out there, again on social media, criticising Joyce, saying, you know, when he steps up, he's going to get found out. He's too slow. He's too hittable. Maybe they're right, but I see an Olympic silver medalist who so far has done everything that's been asked of him as a pro. And I'd find it hard to pick anyone outside of the world top 5 currently against him, because he is very good at what he does. He's made a virtue of his strength and his size. And now under Adam Booth, he's only going to get better. This was only his 2nd fight with Booth. You could see a few things they've been working on with the footwork and the head movement, but he's far from the finished article, and why would he be just yet? So let's give him a chance. You know, they talk about Manuel Char next. Style-wise, that should be a better match for Joyce than Jennings was. And when we can see maybe next year will be the year where he truly steps up, but he still only had 10 pro fights. So again, for different reasons to Dubois, there's no sense in rushing him. Big star on what was an interesting undercard was Liam Williams, looking more comfortable than ever up at middleweight, even though he can still make super welter. The reigning British middleweight champion beat Frenchman Karim Achour for the vacant WBC silver title and looked brilliant in doing so. Achour had never been stopped before. He'd gone the distance with the huge punching David Lemieux. Williams got him out of there in 2 explosive, exciting rounds. I don't think he's ever looked better. Dominic Ingle deserves a lot of credit, as does Williams himself, uprooting from his home in Wales to Sheffield and really putting the hard yards in to improve. It looks like it's all starting to pay off. There are also wins on the undercard for Sonny Edwards, who completely outboxed Hiram Gallardo, if you want to do old Gareth A. Davis Spanish that I'm not so good at. And also a win for at super featherweight, Jordan McCorry, recent British title challenger. He again came up short, losing to Archie Sharp, who did really well, looked great in spurts, outboxed his opponent early on, but McCorry, tough, decent puncher, came back into things towards the end in what was always a watchable fight. Elsewhere, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, to be specific, Amir Khan beat late substitute and usually a super featherweight / lightweight Billy Dibb, former IBF featherweight champion. Khan, obviously a welter and has been for some time. destroyed him in a matter of rounds, as predicted by most people. There's a big press conference tomorrow where Khan's going to announce his next move, so we all look forward to that. On the cheap sport of that, Hughie Fury, heavyweight, got past the ghost of Sam Peter in the end via a retirement when Peter claimed I think it was a left shoulder injury in the second half of the fight. Peter didn't look great, came forward slugging. Hughie Fury still didn't show the urgency that we're looking for and that his trainer father Peter has said they're working on. He wasn't really on the front foot too much. He was ponderous. He was happy to get the rounds in by the look of it. So hopefully in his next fight we'll see him in a better test and we'll see him open up a little bit more. A lot of people have been happy to see Prince Patel lose his fight for the vacant IBO bantamweight title. Sometimes obnoxious Londoner, doesn't please everyone. And on this night he was well beaten by Michel Bonquez of Venezuela, who's just seemed a step ahead in every round. Just long reach, good timing, good mobility, lateral movement. Patel just didn't seem to know what to do. It's about time after his strange world tour he rebuilds perhaps at domestic level. Let us know what you think of my opinions. Whose was the best performance that stood out for you over the weekend? Obviously Dubois was the one that gets the headlines, but Liam Williams was great too. Maybe it's someone else. Let us know what you think. And let us know what you think of Khan in Jeddah and what he should do next. You know, what's left for him after that loss to Crawford and then the win over Dib. I'll be back next week with ReFLEXions, Monday at 4:30 PM. And indeed here with ReFLEXions. I'm going to get it right one day. Here with ReFLEXpectations on Thursday, 4:30 PM. Looking ahead to another big show at the O2 featuring Dillian White against Oscar Rivas and Dave Allen against David Price. I'll see you then. Thank you.